Hello, everyone. I'm Jerry Punch, and, you know, this Slim Jim Series is one of 11 touring series within NASCAR. But arguably, there is no more competitive short-track racing anywhere because in 6 races this year, we have 6 different winners. No one has the upper hand thus far in Slim Jim competition. And you think that's tight? Take a look at the point standings. We have a 2-way tie in the top 10 with 2 different groups. Hal Goodson leads by 69 points over Mike Cope and Billy Bigley in second spot. Freddie Query is back in fourth. Then a 2-way tie for fifth between Rick Crawford and Ron Barfield Jr. Shane Hall, Clay Brown, Scott Walters, and Toby Porter round out the top 10. Once again, we are joined by former NASCAR champion Benny Parsons. And Benny, this series already so tight and so competitive, but now they've made it even tighter. They have put restrictor plates on these cars on a half-mile racetrack.
6 different races, 6 different winners. I think we can continue that tradition again tonight. As Jerry said, when it's restrictor plate, the cars are simply going too fast. The cars are running around Bristol Speedway wide open during practice and qualifying, but in the race they'll have to back up. They've only run 4 or 5 laps at a time. They don't know what's going to happen on down the road. And all the practicing and qualifying has been done in daylight. We're going to race at night. Another unknown. Who knows who's going to win this thing, Jerry? But if you can win, there can be a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow for the all-pro drivers. One fella has used the Slim Jim All-Pro division to get a Winston Cup ride. He's with John Kernan.
Benny, later this year at the Richmond International Raceway, 25-year-old Shane Hall out of Greenville, South Carolina, will make his Winston Cup debut in Dick Brooks' Pontiac. And Shane started racing these stock cars about 4 years ago, so you have to be really surprised to get in the shot at the big time.
Yeah, we really have. I tell you, the Lord's been great to us. We've just, it's been a great year for us. We've had some, I've had so many good people around us that it's made me look good, but it's really not Shane Hall. It's all the people that's been around him. I've had a great car owner in Don Stegall putting in some great equipment, and friends and family gave me so much support that it's made it real easy for me, and hopefully we can get lead from here and do good. And Mr. Brooks's cars gave us a heck of an opportunity, and we can just keep our heads straight and see how we do, and kind of evaluate after those 5 races and see what we need to do.
Shane Hall hoping to grab a lot of attention in those 5 races. A great opportunity for this 25-year-old. Now, here in the pits tonight, tire management could be a story as the teams are limited to only 3 sets of tires. They start the race with 1. They've got 2 sets sitting in the pits. So they will have to decide when to pit and change tires. So tire management, Jerry, could be a key to victory tonight.
And, John, this half-mile racetrack known for chewing up race cars as well as tires because this is an economy tire Hoosier has here, and so we're going to be very careful.
Cars.
And the field has been given the command as a 33-car field roars to life here at Bristol, Tennessee. Folks, we are set for more High Banks hysteria here, Bristol, Tennessee style, as we get set for NASCAR Slim Jim All-Pro action, the PowerAde 250, when we come back. Stay with us. Our Speed World coverage of the PowerAde 250 is being brought to you by Suzuki. The Suzuki motorcycle and ATV dealer has the ride you've been waiting for and the financing to get it. By Texaco Haviland Formula 3 motor oil. Add more life to your car. Take it to the star. And by the NASCAR story. To order, call 800-71-NASCAR. The field is pulled away behind the Ford Thunderbird safety car. Let's take a look at our Suzuki starting lineup. 33 cars will start. 36 were here to qualify. There were some pre-practice accidents, some pre-qualifying accidents. But on the pole, the 46-year-old driver from Wildwood, Florida, Dick Anderson, he will lead the charge. And Mike Cope, last year's series champion, on the outside of row 1.
And Anderson in the only Chrysler product Dodge in the race tonight.
Last year's winner, Ron Barfield, will start back in 6th spot. Billy Bigley, car number 28, will start back in 12th. There's the top 15. Take a look at 16 through 30.
Wayne Willard in 18th position, the winner this week.
And Ron Hornaday Jr. Yes, that's the young man who drives Dale Earnhardt Super Truck and finished 9th here last night. Makes his first All-Pro start on the East Coast. He will start 19th, his first time ever on the high banks of Bristol.
The number 5 is Freddie Query. That was Rich Bickle's car. Freddie Query crashed his car during qualifying. Rich Bickle had a car here since their teammates of sorts. Freddie Query will start Rich Bickle's car for the points.
And there are the final 3 cars to start. Slick Yeoman starting 33rd out of High Point, North Carolina. Take a look at our track description. Front stretch and back stretch equal. They're symmetrical, 650 feet. The banking, folks, that is not a misprint. It is 36 degrees. They are 3 stories high, and even the straightaways, Benny, here are banked at 16 degrees.
Well, Talladega is banked, what, 35 degrees? So Bristol, the highest bank of any racetrack on the Winston Cup circuit.
Take a look at our race analysis tonight. 250 laps. The pole speed 123.539. The race record 86.87. The pit window now. The tires, a lot of concern, as you heard John Kernan mention, Benny, about tire wear. This is an economy tire. They're about $100 per tire, so $400 a set from Hoosier, and this track can grind them away in a hurry.
Yeah, they've got 3 sets of tires. That's easily can run 250 laps, but as John Kernan said, tire management will be important. They'll have to. You can't be too much of a rabbit unless you really feel like you're being easy on the tires while leading.
Speaking of rabbits, we're going to be riding along with this guy back inside row 11, Clay Brown, driving John Arnold's Papa John's Pizza Chevrolet Monte Carlo. He will start inside row 11 in 21st position. There's a look at Clay, 31-year-old driver.
And Rick Crawford, also our winner in Martinsville, the race that we did on ESPN in the Circle Bar truck stop out in Ozona, Texas.
And there's tonight's field, 33 cars, 19 Chevrolets, 4 Olds, 8 Fords, a Pontiac, and a Dodge. And for you Mopar fans, that Dodge is not back in the field somewhere. That Dodge is on the pole with Dick Anderson out of Wildwood, Florida. Anderson over 800 short track wins to his credit. And if you're a short track fan in the nation, you've heard of that young man, Dick Anderson, and the Joey Arrington engine in that Dodge Daytona. Let's check in the pits with John Kernan.
Jerry, you talked about Rich Bickle letting Freddie Query start the call. Actually, it's kind of a favor to himself. He has to drive to Chicago after tonight to be there for an autograph session tomorrow afternoon. So he said this is going to allow him to relax a little bit more. But seriously, he says you never know. One day I may need a favor.
Indeed, it is quite a family here in all these touring series, and Rich Bickle hoping to be able to prosper a full Busch Series tour deal next year from the folks at Kimberly-Clark, and Kleenex will be there in Chicago tomorrow to meet with those people. Pace car pulls away. Fasten your seatbelts. We're set for a start.
Kevin Ray is off the pace. The young man, the 17-year-old out of East Teboga, Alabama, off the pace already.
This is very first start in an all-pro race. And even though he was extremely quick in qualifying and in practice, his car not coming up to speed here, they took the green flag. That's not the problem for Mike Cope in the car number 44. And Cope, the reigning series champion for the All-Pro Slim Jim Tour, pulled away to about 3 or 4 car lengths, and now he is being reeled in by Dick Anderson.
There we see Tammy Jo Kirk in the blue number 52. That's Ron Hornaday in the blue and white number 9. And the car in front of them, the 26 car, that's driven by Bob Strait tonight, one of the truck drivers that was here this weekend.
Bob Strait, a former ARCA competitor, and now Hornaday putting some pressure on Tammy Jo. Remember, Tammy Jo qualified on the outside front row at this race a year ago and had a power steering hose rupture after about 20 laps, and she had to call it a night. But she runs this track awfully well, and they're battling back in the pack for 16th and 17th position.
Here comes Hornaday trying to get on the inside. Can't quite make it. Wayne Willard in the 01 has joined this battle. There we see the leaders already in traffic as George Engel in the 17 going a lap down, as Mike Cope in 44, Dick Anderson in 92. The 44 car is owned by Bobby Labonte, sponsored by Slim Jim, or Penrose, I guess, is the sponsor on the car.
And Dick Anderson's car owned by Buddy Foster, who's a Chevrolet dealer in Florida. You might wonder why he's driving a Dodge, because he just has purchased a Chrysler store. Now, here's a pretty good battle. That's our point leader, Hal Goodson, in the car number 16 on the outside, and a 6-time national champion, Jody Ridley, in the car number 98. They're trying to make the pass.
Ridley's trying to get by Hal Goodson, but Hal is running the high groove, and there's a slow car. There's Engel in the front of him. That's going to halt Jody Ridley's progress towards the front. we watched this, I was watching the battle behind, and Hornaday and Tammy Jo Kirk almost made contact as they passed the George Engel car.
Now, Tammy Jo's in the 52 car, 17 years a flat track motorcycle racer, and she is a very, very talented race driver. That car 52 now being shown in 15th position. The car number 9 behind him, the two-time Southwest Tour Series champion. That is Ron Hornaday in 16th spot.
Here he comes. Ooh, on the apron of the racetrack, trying his best to get on the inside of Tammy Jo. Can't make it.
They move beneath the car number 23. That's Scott Sutherland out of Jefferson, Georgia.
And he finally gets by, and now Wayne Willard is going to come along as well. And he's on the inside. Oh, they're 3 abreast and some contact in the 22 car.
That's Brad Payne, who had he was out on the bottom of the racetrack, and he just got a little bit of a tap. Caution is not being shown yet, and Payne's car is down out of the group.
Now it's out.
And now they finally will wave the caution flag. Dan Spence, the flagman, waving the yellow for the first time tonight. I got to believe we're going to see a lot of that yellow hanky tonight on the high banks at Bristol, Tennessee. Here's a look again at what happened.
There we see the 9 car, Hornaday on the inside of Bob Strait, and there's Brad Payne in the 22, and they go in the corner 3 abreast. There is just not room. Some contact between Hornaday and the 26, and also Brad Payne was trying to get off those guys. And look at the red car. What a great job he does saving the car. One more look, a different angle, going in the corner, and all 3 cars get sideways, and Brad Payne goes round.
You got to give a call to Bob Strait. He did a heck of a job to keep that car from nosing right toward the outside wall. Strait, a 46-year-old body shop owner and former ARCA competitor, 15 career wins in ARCA. His first time here at Bristol, Tennessee. Now, there is Rich Bickle. You heard John Kernan report that he was going to let Freddie Query, who's 4th in the point standing, start the car. Now we would expect to see Query come in and Rich Bickle get in the car. Let's check in with John Kernan.
That should be the case. This last time by, Rich Bickle was telling Freddie to come on, speed up, speed up. You need to get around. Now, once again, Freddie going by as Bickle's telling him to come on, get around, get into the pits. We don't want to lose a lap because it will take, it doesn't take that long under caution to do a lap around Bristol. And a driver's change could take just about 45 to 50 seconds.
There's Freddie Query and Rich Bickle, the pole sitter for the Busch Series event at Charlotte Motor Speedway a few weeks ago, waiting to get in that car. Under caution in Bristol, Tennessee. Back with more live action after this. Back in Bristol, Tennessee, the early laps of the PowerAde 250 were under caution for the first time of what possibly could be many this evening. Take a look at the driver change that happened just moments ago. That's Rich Bickle in the Kleenex uniform helping Freddie Query out of his car.
What do you mean helping him? You mean dragging him?
I mean throwing him out.
He just simply grabbed him and said, Freddie, get out of that car. I'm going in.
And there's Roger Purcell, the crew chief, and the rest of the terminal truck and crew trying to get Bickle faster than. Let's go to John Kernan.
Well, I'm standing by with Freddie Query. And Freddie, a bizarre incident today during qualifying, but Rich Bickle allowing you to start his car so you can stay in the points hunt.
Well, you know, it's just a shame what happened in qualifying today. We had an awful good race car. It's been good up here in practice, and the last couple of practice sessions today, we really locked on to a couple things that just got us better and better. And then I'm not really sure who did what they did in qualifying did it, but, you know, they just came out on the racetrack there, and I came down this corner, and I wasn't going to lift off the throttle. It was going to be 2 wide open laps, and, you know, I saw the car, and I darted just a little bit to miss it and lost control, but, you know, I thank Rich and all these guys on this terminal trucking crew here for giving me the opportunity to start their car and get the points, you know. Gene Eisenhower owns terminal trucking and owns both these race cars, you know, but it's like we're really 2 separate teams.
All right, well, Freddie, now he will watch Rich Bickle. Guys, it took about 43 seconds for that driver change.
Pretty good, John, and the important part is they didn't lose a lap there. We'll go back to green flag racing once again, and Mike Cope will just speed away. Cope must have a rocket or some kind of low gear in that car. He just pulls that Chevrolet Monte Carlo away by about 6 or 7 car lengths over the Dodge Daytona of Dick Anderson.
There's Rick Crawford. There's Shane Hall in the 85 car. Jimmy Britz in the 92. There we see the first 3 cars. Ron Young, the 4 cars, in 3rd place. Ron Barfield, the white car, 97, is the 4th place runner.
There's Anderson in 2nd spot. And And here's a heck of a battle back in the pack. That is Hornaday.
23 car, Scott Sutherland in the 23, the yellow car. Here comes Hornaday on the inside. On the 9, looks like he has position. He will take that spot away going down to turn 1.
At his 14th position, Hornaday just zips beneath him now. He normally carries the number 97, which Ron Barfield has in this series. You see Tammy Jo Kirk now moving beneath Sutherland. And they will bring the car number 01 of Wayne Willard by, the Buford, Georgia driver.
And Tammy Jo has some damage to the right front of her car. We see the hood is buckled up, so she's tapped somebody in the back. Meanwhile, there's Jody Ridley still trying to get by the points leader, Hal Goodson. That's Goodson in 16. Jody Ridley in the blue 98.
And they are in 12th and 13th spot. There they are right in front of the battle. And Hornaday is catching these two. Hornaday had made the pass a moment ago. Sutherland was about 15 car lengths back, and now he has moved to within a couple of car lengths. And Hornaday is the white car to the left side of your screen coming in behind Jody Ridley. There he is now behind Ridley and Goodson.
Never see Billy Bigby Jr. in the 28 car going by Jimmy Britz. Here comes Scott Walters in the red 55. Then he got Britz on the outside. Here comes the 16 of Goodson trying to get by. Brad Payne, the white 22 that spun just a moment ago, looks like he did have some type of problem. He's slow on the inside.
Billy Bigley out of Naples, Florida, driving a Chevrolet Monte Carlo. They were working in the wee hours this morning at the hotel, the entire crew out there in the parking lot trying to get that car dialed in even before the racetrack opened. That's how hungry that team is for a victory.
Going by the black 17 with George Engel. Meanwhile, there's the leader, Mike Cope, the red 44, and Dick Anderson. And Anderson has closed up, Jerry, right on the back bumper of Mike Cope. I guess these guys have raced each other, both being from around the Tap area. I guess they've raced for years against each other.
Well, Anderson certainly is a legend in the East, but particularly in Florida. 800 short track, over 800 short track victories. There's Mike Cope, the leader, the former series and reigning series champion, but now he knows how tough Anderson can be. Anderson is a very, very smart and extremely patient race driver. Patience can be a virtue here at Bristol.
Yes, it can. 250 laps. We've got a long ways to go. Once again, there's the Brad Payne car. And they're approaching Conrad Burns, the white 33. So traffic, got to work the traffic. Cope catches the traffic almost perfect that time. Passes him down the straightaway. Almost passed him down the straightaway. Ooh, and we see Cope get a little bit out of shape. And here comes Anderson. But the slow car is there.
Conrad Burr out of Concord, North Carolina, now gets down on the inside apron, sees the leaders coming by, and Cope will slide by. Anderson is there. Here's Rod Young out of Conyers, Georgia, in the car number 4. So the front 3 go by.
Looks like Cope is, when he has the whole racetrack, can run pretty well, but in traffic, looks like the car is getting loose.
As you mentioned, that car owned by Bobby Labonte. What a year Bobby Labonte's had, boy, driving for Joe Gibbs. That team has really come along in a hurry.
David Green drives Bobby's car on the Busch Grand National, NASCAR Busch Grand National circuit, and has won a race this year. Mike Cope has won a race.
Mopar fans, we mentioned once again for Dodge Daytona running in second spot. Now, for many years, recently we've seen Dodges not be that competitive in NASCAR competition as you're on board with Clay Brown on his roof cam, the Papa John's Pizza Chevrolet Monte Carlo. Clay being shown back in the field in 25th position. Now, he made a pit stop under the first caution flag, came down pit road as he and moving by the car number 22 of Brad Payne.
And a battle for the lead. That's Mark Gerke in the 41. And once again, Kobe's having trouble with the traffic. Anderson trying to take advantage of it. But the slow car is there. Anderson has to fall back. Now Cope is going to be able to clear the slower car.
See how Dick Anderson backed off. He realized that he could go in there and make it 3 wide, probably wreck all 3 of them, or he could back off and wait for another day or another lap. I'm just here at Bristol, Tennessee.
And right behind, great battle going for about 4th or 5th. There's the second place car.
There's Dick Anderson. He's made it through some of the traffic. And Mike Cope continuing to show the way. He qualified on the outside front row, but has led all 39 laps thus far from Bristol, Tennessee. Back in a moment. grade baseball rivalries continue their series as the San Francisco Giants take on the LA Dodgers from Dodger Stadium. Chavez Ravine, the National League West, the closest division in baseball, and these two teams are in the thick of the race. That's Sunday Night Baseball, tomorrow live at 7:56 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on ESPN. Giants and Dodgers. What a rivalry. Speaking of rivalries, how about this one? Mike Cope still leading up front, moving in on some lap traffic, including one of our in-car cameras, Clay Brown. Great racing all over the front 8 or 10.
And there we see Ron Hornaday going by. Here comes, ooh, and heavy contact. Mark Gerke nails the wall almost head on coming off the fourth corner. Now he goes down, hits the inside wall. The left front is gone. The left front is gone on the car.
NASCAR officials right there immediately. So are the firemen there to the scene. And the car has come to rest right at the end of pit road. That's right where the ambulances and safety crews sit. And they are just waiting, making sure they get a signal from NASCAR. They pulled out on the racetrack. Second caution flag tonight is a scary one here at Bristol, Tennessee. Coming out of turn 4.
Look at the right front tire. It is still rolling, but it isn't on the ground. There we see Mark Gerke coming out of the car. Man, he nailed that wall hard.
Here's a replay again. Now, right in front of you, the car just went straight in, Benny.
Yes. And the left front leaves. There to see the left front tire just leaves the car. Really, and Tammy Jo Kirk hits that tire. Look at the damage it does to Tammy Jo's car as she hits that tire. Looks like the spindle broke on the left front of the car, which caused the car to veer straight in the wall.
Watch again. Here's some of the traffic behind it. That tire comes right across the top of a couple cars, takes the fender, as you mentioned, off Tammy Jo's car. The caution flag waving feverishly. And now Mark Gerke, the 38-year-old driver from Panama City, Florida, brings that car down to a rest. Here's a different angle. Once again, another look.
There's Wayne Willard in the 01 and the 16 of Hal Goodson. Goodson slows, and the tire, there it's going to catch Tammy Jo in the right front and knocks that fender off.
Now here's a different angle. This is our fixed camera, what we call our speed shot, real time of this accident as Gerke's car comes right at you. Take a look.
Listen. Wow.
And folks, they run here, the average speed is over 124 miles an hour, and so they probably are running 135 to maybe even 140 on the straightaways. That was a heavy impact. Mark Gerke, second-year All-Pro driver. He is a car dealer in Panama City, Florida, bringing out caution flag for the second time today here at Bristol, Tennessee, with a violent impact in turn 4. Back with more from Bristol in just a moment. Back in Bristol, Tennessee, under caution for the second time today in the PowerAde 250, a violent, nearly head-on impact out of turn 4, and that's what's left of the caution lights that enter the front straightaway there out of turn 4. That's where Mark Gerke, 38-year-old driver from Florida, hit. Let's take a look again. He's the car coming right at the wall.
Now we can see the car almost goes over on its side, and the left front, it tumbles. It is broken off the car. We'll follow the Gerke car. Well, we're back on the tire again. It does hit Tammy Jo Kirk's 52 car. We'll see a better shot of that in the next angle. From turn 1, he hits the wall. There's a tire that we see.
That goes over Willard's car.
And just knocks that right front off Tammy Jo's car. As a matter of fact, her car is behind the wall being repaired, and it almost hits Mark Gerke's car again as it goes back across the racetrack. Now it's coming back across the racetrack once again.
So we're under caution for the second time today. Take a look at our full field summary. Mike Cope is the leader. Dick Anderson in second. Ron Young is third. Mike Garvey fourth. And Toby Porter is fifth. Last year's winner, Ron Barfield, sixth. Crawford, Hall, Hornaday, Bigley, Britz. It's the leading rookie candidate. Walters, Willard, Goodson, and Ridley, the former three-time champion, is 15th. Now 16 through 30.
Never see Scott Sutherland. Then we might check his progress because he stopped and changed tires on that 23 car. So we'll find out just how much that cold tires, what kind of difference it does make. And there we see the 6-car Freddie Query did not start the event, and Kevin Ray had trouble on the very first lap.
And once again, we're under caution. You saw the remains of that Oldsmobile Cutlass. Mark Gerke, a former USAC midget driver, ran 6 years. We saw him a lot on Thursday night and Saturday Night Thunder. Back with more from Bristol, Tennessee in a moment. Back in Bristol, Tennessee, we're still under caution. The safety crews and track maintenance crews are trying to work on that caution light there, see if they could possibly repair the caution light that was struck almost head-on by Mark Gerke just a moment ago. Lots of racing action yet to come your way tomorrow. The Indy cars make a stop in Portland, Oregon for the Budweiser G.I. Joe's 200, the 9th stop on the PPG IndyCar World Series Tour. Jack Villeneuve leads the points by a scant 4-point margin over Robbie Gordon. Live coverage tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern. And the pole, Jack Villeneuve, 1995 Indy 500 winner with a new track record at 117.614 miles per hour. IndyCar racing from Portland, Oregon tomorrow at 4 Eastern. Let's check in with John Kernan.
Well, some good news, Jerry. Just talked to a couple of the crew members of Gerke, and they say he is inside the care center, and right now he's laughing and joking. He's alert. When they pulled him out of the car, his knees kind of buckled, but, you know, after a hit like that, I'm amazed that he had the presence of mind to take his own steering wheel off. I was standing right down there, so he was still alert. Right now, he's joking. And I just talked to Tammy Jo Kirk, because she's getting ready to go back out. She was right behind it, saw the whole thing. She tells me it looks like something broke on the car, because as it came out of turn 4, the car just suddenly veered right into the wall.
There's Tammy Jo's car being worked on. She just doesn't have any luck at Bristol, Tennessee. We mentioned she qualified on the outside of front row last year and had a power steering hose rupture 20 laps into the race. And they try to work to get her back out. Benny, I think Mark Gerke was one of the guys that somersaulted out of the ballpark on one of our Thursday Night Thunder shows a few years ago in a USAC midget car. So he certainly has a somewhat of a prominence for getting spectacular on ESPN. Under caution once again for the second time of the day, continuing for the violent impact of Mark Gerke in turn 4. Back with more from Bristol in just a moment. Back at Bristol, Tennessee, restart lap 60 just a half a lap ago. And Mike Cope, once again, as he's done all evening long, pulls away from Dick Anderson by about 5 or 6 car lengths when they drop the green.
Mike Cope did. I don't think Mike Cope wanted to see this caution play because he had put about 15, 20 car lengths on Dick Anderson's car. But it looks like right now with the tires cold that Anderson is able to keep up fairly well.
There's Cope, your leader. Anderson in second spot. He reels him back in now at about a car length and a half separation. And about 3 car lengths back to Ron Young in third spot. In fourth is Mike Garvey. As you watch this battle, single file up front. Let's check in once again with John Kernan.
Well, Jerry, another medical update from the Infield Care Center. I just talked to Dr. Randall Fulchero, and he tells me that Gerke is all right. His back a little bit sore. He thinks he may have strained a muscle in his back, but he's sitting up alert, talking to the doctors, and they're continuing their examination. But good news.
I'll tell you one thing. If I hit the wall that hard, I'd strain more in my back.
Whoa, a near accident as Goodson comes into contact with the car number 92, and that is Jimmy Britz, a leading rookie candidate. And Britt's car slows down the backstretch.
He's got to have a flat tire. He can't get out of the way. Now he's out of the way.
He pulls right down in front of the leaders and turns for there is Britz as the leaders come by just on the outside of him. And finally gets the car. Now, he must have cut a tire, as you said, Benny Parsons. The fender now flapping in the right front. Jimmy Britz, leading rookie candidate. And here's what happened.
Tough break. There we are. And there we see the 16 car. There's the 16, and Britz is very, very slow. Look at all these cars behind. How they avoided him, I don't know. We see the 2 car, the 21 car, I guess, of Steve Allison. And look at that right front. Something's broken. And a caution flag is out because he has stalled out at turn 1. Well, he stopped, and now once the caution's out, he's trying to get going, but something is amiss on that right front.
And probably some concern over debris on the racetrack, so the caution out for the 3rd time tonight. Jimmy Britz, 30 years of age. His dad, Jim Britz, is the crew chief and car owner. He said, man, do we need a sponsor? We need to run well tonight, try to attract some attention. Well, not the kind of attention he wanted to attract, but so we're doing this whole thing out of our pockets. His dad is a welding instructor. His mom is a rural postal carrier. And And so Jim and Kay Britz trying to get their son Jimmy involved in Slim Jim All-Pro competition. Under caution for the third time tonight due to an incident involving Jimmy Britz out of turn 2. Back with more live All-Pro action from Bristol, Tennessee, right after this. Stay with us. Back in Bristol, Tennessee, John Kernan, Benny Parsons, and yours truly, Jerry Punch, working the third caution flag of the evening. 69 laps in the books out of 250. And here they are just a moment ago taking the tire off, Benny.
And we can see that the wheel is broken on Jimmy Britt's car. And also, I guess the spindle is broken as well.
Let's go down to John Kernan, who's standing right beside the car. John, what's going on now?
Well, right now, the car has fallen off the jack, and they had to get the help from some other crewmen to lift it up so they could get it back up and try and replace the right front spindle, as only one lug stud left on this. Also, the wheel, this is the wide pattern wheel, and it was broken. And, well, we'll walk over here and see if we can get Rick, the camera guy, to come over and follow and show you this wheel as it has been moved.
Trying to change the spindle. I guess they're going to get back on the race. Try to get back on the racetrack.
Try to.
There's Rick. He's coming, John.
Here we go. Better late than never. Sorry about that. But look at this wheel, how it just pulled out. This is what we mean by that wide 5-bolt pattern. Instead of like the standard that you see on the Winston Cup cars where the holes are in the center, these are on the outside. And look at that. It just tore right apart. And when it did, it took the spindle pieces with it.
Wow.
Hey, remember Jimmy Britt's guys from Martinsville Speedway? He's always in the wrong place at the right time. Remember that race? Charlie Powell and him came together, and Scott Sutherland's car launched him in the air, and a car came down on the roof on top of him at Martinsville. In fact, he was commenting earlier today. He said, hey, I made the Sports Center highlight reel that night. I was pretty tickled about that, but not exactly tickled about my finish at Martinsville. Said, maybe my luck will change tonight. And here you heard the report a moment ago, there was a little bit of concern about possibly some pulled muscles and muscle strain down in the low back of Mark Gerke, and they're going to load him up and take him to the local hospital, possibly for some x-rays and further checkup. But the good news was, after that violent impact nearly head-on at 125 miles per hour, he was awake and alert and speaking with the infield care center staff there, and he'll be taken to an infield hospital, a nearby hospital, possibly for some x-rays. We'll hope to get a report before we go off the air tonight.
They're going to have to open the gate so the ambulance can get out, so we'll be under the caution flag for just a few minutes. There we see the folks getting ready to open the gate.
Maybe that accident reminded me a lot of what we saw happen with Rusty Wallace here back in 1989. When he had a ball joint, cut a tire, and he hit almost at that exact point there coming out of turn 4.
Once again, we'll take a look at the Bullville rundown. Mike Coper's their leader. Dick Anderson, Ron Young, Mike Garvey, and the Toby Porter is their 5th place car. Ron Barfield, the winner last year, 6th. Rick Crawford, one of our camera cars, in 7th. And Shane Hall, the fellow who's going to drive for Dick Brooks, is back in 8th spot. Ron Hornaday Jr. made quite a run up to 9th. Billy Bigby is 10th. Wayne Willard, Scott Walters. And we'll go back. And we see Scott Sutherland. Where was he? He was back at the end because he stopped and made pit stop and changed tires. So he's gained about, looks to me like about 10 spots since he made the pit stop and changed tires. So it might, new tires, fresh tires might certainly be an advantage.
And there are 20 cars still on the lead lap as we have caution for the 3rd time, and we've opened that gate to allow the ambulance to leave. Once again, if you just joined us, the 2nd caution flag of the evening was brought out when the car number 41, Panama City, Florida driver Mark Gerke, apparently cut a tire, may have broken a spindle. We're not really sure yet. The left front of his car, in any reason, his Cutlass head-on into the wall in turn 4. He has been checked out of the infield care center, and we'll head to a regional hospital. Back with more from Bristol, Tennessee in a moment. Our Speed Road coverage of the PowerAde 250 is being brought to you by the more than 1,000 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. And by Smooth Busch Beer and easy drinking Busch Light. Busch, the official beer of NASCAR.
Clay Brown, one of our camera cars, making another pit stop. Looks like they changed the... We heard the radio communication between Clay and his...
down, get it up.
Maybe if you shut up, they could hear you.
Watching Frank. All right, Clay, the leaders are fixing to go. Let's get ready, get ready. Get ready. Green now, green now.
And that's John Arnold, the car owner, telling Clay that the green's indeed waving. Restart lap 77. Mike Cope picking up where he left off in lap 1 at the head of the field.
Hornaday is trying his best to get to the front. That's Shane Hall, the 85 car, Lube America, and Ron Hornaday in the 9. Hornaday is the driver for Teresa Earnhardt, the NASCAR Super Truck Series.
Remember, he started inside of row 10 in 19th spot. He is now being shown in 9th position. Had never seen Bristol, Tennessee until a couple of weeks ago when they came here and tested Teresa Earnhardt's racing truck, Super Truck. Remember, he finished 9th here last night in heavy traffic. An exciting Super Truck race. Hope you saw it on ESPN on live coverage. Right now, he's battling Shane Hall, a young man whose stock is on the rise as we speak. As you mentioned earlier, taking a Winston Cup ride for 5 events in the Nick Brooks Kendall Oil Pontiac later on in the year.
Ron Hornaday, this 9 car that we're watching try to get by Shane. How long? We've got the 23 car. Scott Sutherland made contact with, looks like the wall. Some heavy damage to the right front of that car. He comes to a stop. Man.
Well, we had a feeling it'd be this kind of night. That's how exciting it is here at the High Banks in Bristol, Tennessee. The speeds are incredible. Sometimes difficult to tell even on television how fast these cars are going. I think it was Dick Trickle a few years ago who said racing in Bristol is like jet fighters in a gymnasium. He said it's that tight, it's that fast, and it's that frightening.
Looked like I saw Sutherland moving around in the car. Yes, they do. There we see he's taking the steering wheel off, and he takes the winning that down. John Kernan?
Well, I'm back at Mark Gerke's car. Finally got a chance to look back and look here on the left front. You can see the problem there after that broke. Move over here. This is what the left front wheel. It took all the assembly with it, the spindle, the rotor, brake system, the wheel. The wheel did not break on the left front on Mark Gerke's car. Instead, it was a problem. And Sutherland now is getting out of the car, but this is all that's left from the left front, so definitely Tammy Jo Kirk was correct. Something broke, and that's what sent Gerke into the wall.
Thank you, John. There's a look at Scott Sutherland, his first full year on the All-Pro Tour. Now, he was the crew chief last year for Mike Cope when Mike Cope won the Slim Jim All-Pro Series Championship. And here's the car number 7 of Clay Brown in the pits.
Once again, he's back, and they continue to work on the right front of that automobile. When he stopped just a couple of laps ago, they were doing something to the right front.
They're making an air pressure adjustment there.
I suppose that's what they're doing, changing the air pressure of the tire, trying to change the stagger. These are bias ply tires, so when you reduce the air pressure, you make the tire smaller. When you increase the air pressure...
It's going to be a long caution. Why don't we go back around and catch the pace car and check the plug wires? We might get lucky here.
Are they on 7?
The plug wires, you can't hardly pull them off.
They must have a miss.
If you're going to check it, check that one we saw yesterday on the back. You don't want to check it, so let's we fixed it when it was broke, but you don't want to check it, we'll just keep going.
Evidently, they're on 7 cylinders.
That's probably one of the reasons he's not coming up to speed on that restart we saw him a moment ago, although the car looked to be racing pretty well in traffic.
We have our sound inside the car, but you really can't tell.
Back there, Clay. How much are you going to be before they bring it back? That didn't look like much. Okay, I don't think it's no plug wires. You can't really pull them plug wires off. That's sure no. Something done with the cleanup, it looks like.
Well, that's a conversation between Clay Brown and his car owner, John Arnold, regarding a possible engine problem on the car number 7, the Papa Joe's Chevrolet Monte Carlo. Under caution at Bristol. Back in a moment. Back at Bristol, Tennessee, as they remove what's left of the car number 23, Scott Sutherland's Chevrolet. Young man of Jefferson, Georgia, tagging the wall down in turn 3, bringing out the caution flag. And take a look at these All-Pro Series cars, Benny. They're a little bit different than what we're accustomed to.
Yeah, the carburetor's 390 cubic feet per minute. The RB8 9.5 to 1 compression. Weight is 2,800 pounds. That's with the driver. This is the division, if I make my comeback, this is the division I need to race in because my car can weigh about 2,000 pounds. Wheelbase 101. to under 4 inches, and the minimum height, 47 inches. That's from the roof, the center of the roof, to the ground.
And what we haven't told you there, folks, is there's a 1-inch restrictor plate on these engines, because if we didn't have a restrictor plate, these cars would be going over 130 miles an hour, according to some testing that was done. And that plate keeps them down under 125. Take a look at the top cars.
There's Mike Cope in 44, Dick Anderson in the red 82. There we see Bob Strait, the black 26, down a lap down on the inside.
Ron Young back in 3rd spot in the car number 4. As we get set for a restart here on the high banks at Bristol, Tennessee.
Wayne Woodward in a 0-1 trying to get a run on Billy Bigley. Meanwhile, back to the lead. There's Ron Young. 91 car is their 4th place car. Mike Garvey.
There's Dick Anderson, the Dodge, as he begins to reel in now after the restart. They are 2 by 2. Hope and Anderson, and there is Young and Garvey in 3rd and 4th spot. Mike Garvey, a 1990 Series champion in all-pro competition.
And we see Toby Porter back in 5th place. Just caught a glimpse of him as he came into the picture.
There's the front 2. And there's Young and Garvey. Car number 4 is Ron Young, and Mike Garvey has been chewing his fingernails all afternoon. His wife, Lisa, is expecting any moment now back in Atlanta, Georgia. We are told he's been staying by the cellular phone all day waiting for that phone call, expecting their 2nd child. Lisa back with her parents watching the live coverage on ESPN. And I'm told that this afternoon she even started having a few contractions, so Mike wants to get this one over with and get home.
Here's from Rick Crawford's, the Circle Bar Motel and RV Park in Ozona, Texas. Sponsor of Rick Crawford. He was a winner at Martinsville. A great race. One of the best races we've had on ESPN in a long, long time.
18 cars on the lead lap.
There he goes by George Engel on this black 17 car.
Sutherland, the driver who brought the last caution flag, is standing by with our John Kernan.
Jerry's just come from the infield care center where they've checked him out, and he is all right. Scott, a pretty hard lick. What happened to you out there?
Well, that first caution, we picked up a nail, got a flat tire. We had to come in and make a 4th-tire stop. Coming back through the pack, you know, this Waddle Pace car was awesome. It was fast. Trying to get around the slower cars. Yeah, so evidently their spotters don't see everything ours does. We're doing, you know, we're just doing the best we can. I just want to say hi to the folks out in Wisconsin, Minnesota, Arkansas, Georgia. Thanks for watching, and we're still there. We're okay.
Covered just about the whole Midwest there, Jerry.
Check this out. Ron Young was a few car lengths back. He was having trouble with Mike Garvey just a moment ago. He is closed up on the back bumper of Dick Anderson. There we see Toby Porter, Ron Barfield. There we see Rick Crawford in the 14.
That is 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th right there.
The white car is Toby Porter, and the blue and white car, that was Barfield, the 97.
That's 5th and 6th, the 80 and the 97. And you're riding along with the car number 14. That's Rick Crawford. He is being shown in the 7th position, 5th, 6th, and 7th. You see the 5th and 6th place cars right in front of him. Ron Barfield, a Pizza Plus Chevrolet. I should say Pontiac. That's a car that won here a year ago when Barfield was a rookie. Well, what a wild finish that one was on the high banks at Bristol.
Crawford closes up right on the back bumper of Barfield. There we see Toby Porter in the 80 car, the Grease Lightning car, and Ron Barfield.
They move by the lap car of Mitch Calhoun.
Mitch Calhoun made a pit stop just a couple of laps ago.
There they are, 5th and 6th. Toby Porter just 20 years of age. Ron Barfield just 24 years of age. They moved by Bob Strait, the former ARCA Series veteran and now Super Truck competitor.
Comes off that corner. Toby Porter came down the hill last night. Mike Skinner and Kerry Teague made contact with their trucks. A very similar situation.
Riding along with Rick Crawford. That's a Robert Yates engine in that car, in that Ford Thunderbird. Heavy traffic back up front as Mike Cope tiptoeing around the outside of the rookie competitor, Jimmy Britz.
Britz has been able to repair his car. He's back on the racetrack after breaking that wheel and hub just a moment ago. I tell you what, Anderson has moved up the racetrack. Looks like he's been trying to keep his tires cool. We see Cope has been running the same groove right on the bottom of the racetrack, and it looks like that Anderson is keeping those tires cool. It's working for him. See how he's running a little bit higher.
Once again, that is a Dodge Daytona in second position. And here's a battle back in the pack. Ron Hornaday and Shane Hall getting a little pressure from behind from the 01 of Wayne Willard.
And Willard trying to get alongside. Hornaday can't do it as they lap by Bobby Rushwood in the 57.
And the white number 85 left of your screen, that is Shane Hall. He's in 8th spot. The car number 9 is 9th, and the car 01 is 10th.
Sponsor on Hornaday's car, Fluidyne, a oil cooler manufacturer out in California. I met him today. Gary Johnson, very nice man, and a gearhead from way back, as he called himself. Also sponsored by Ultra Wheels, as we see. I thought Clay Brown was in trouble there from our camera shot, but the camera was moving.
Camera looking out the back of the Papa John's Pizza Chevrolet. Beautiful race car. John Arnold, who builds the A1 chassis.
The car is really moving up and down. Looks like he's got some shocks broken or something on that car. The back end was going up and down.
They made a couple of unscheduled stops under the caution flag to make some air pressure adjustments, and you heard the two-way communications when they were concerned about possibly being on 7 cylinders.
And the Brian Ball is slow, the 04 car. And I know, Brian, turn left. Don't do it now. Man.
There comes Bickle.
Caution. Good idea. Oh, NASCAR. The NASCAR, good idea, NASCAR, but Conrad Burr runs in the back of Brad Payne, and Brad loops her down the front straightaway, but continues on. There's Brad.
Now that'll give us a whole handful. 5 caution flags thus far tonight. And folks, we aren't even to halfway. We told you the high bank hysteria began about 24 hours ago with the Goodies Dash Series cars and then the Super Truck Series. Well, it's continuing here at Bristol, Tennessee. And now you know why we at ESPN and all the folks who love short track racing enjoy coming here so much.
Watch this. The 2 white cars. We see the 04 car slow. The 2 white cars. That's Brad Payne and Conrad Burr. They make contact. And Brad spins around, doesn't hit anything, and continues on. And pit stops galore. Here comes Toby Porter, Ron Barfield, Hal Goodson. And there we see the second place car, Anderson in the pits.
That's Frankie Grill and the company working on Anderson's car. Remember, they
got to push the car back. They have to push the car back. They're over the line.
They had it on the air hose, too, under the right front tire. Now it's Frankie Grill. Remember, they have 12 tires, as John Kernan told you, 4 on the car, and they were allowed 8 in the pits. You can do whatever you want to with those 8 tires in the pits. And now the car's still sitting on the air hose.
And I tell you what, they've got the tire. Look, the tire spinning. And here comes a pace car. Folks, you got to go. Let her down. You got to go. Is he going to make it?
And he's got a tire stuck in the front grill. He's pushing a tire down pit road, and the pace car is there, and he's trying to get rid of that tire.
And he does get rid of the tire.
But did he beat the pace car? And the leader is on pit road, and John Kernan is there.
Apparently a mix-up in communications as the crew expected Mike Cope to pit with everyone else, but now he's going to pit a lap later, and that means the leader is going to lose a lot of spots out on the racetrack. But it will be a 4-tire change, a pretty quick one it looks like, as the left side's already going on, not making any adjustments. They tell me that the car has been just about as perfect. Now, a little bit of a problem with the lug on the left front and the right rear, but Mike Cope is finally down and away. A good stop with no chassis adjustment, just 4 tires and fuel.
And we saw the tire that Dick Anderson had him put in front of his car, laying on pit road. But you're right, Mike Cope is way back and lost a lot of track position. I don't know where it's going to shake out, but he's probably going to be about 15th.
And here's Dick Anderson back in the pits. Apparently he did not have a problem with beating the pace car because he was not black flagged, as they will bring the car back in, and Frankie Grill and company now will put the jack again beneath the left side. They had trouble. They couldn't get the left rear tire changed because the air hose was all curled up beneath the right rear tire. We saw that a moment ago. Great shots by our camera guys there in the pits, as that's the tire that was pushed halfway down pit road.
Well, we know it's not Dick Anderson's tire because he has the wide bow pattern. That was just a regular 5-inch pattern.
Looked like it may have been a tire off Toby Porter's car, right in front of the Anderson pit. Let's check in once again with John Kernan.
Well, I just talked to the crew about Mike Cope, and they say it wasn't miscommunication. They said kind of a grin and said, well, Mike just missed pit road the very first time by. I'm still trying to find out whose tire this is, though. I'll let you know when I find out, guys.
You make a joke about missing pit road, Benny, but you can get disoriented here at this racetrack with these speeds and the lights at night. It can really disorient a driver.
Well, and one thing, Mike Cope was the leader. All the fellows behind him chose to pit. Normally they do what the leader does. This time they all said, hey, we're going to pit. And Mike Cope, I'm sure, didn't know exactly what they were going to do. But, you know, our two fastest cars, the leader right now is Rick Crawford in the Circle Bar Motel and RV Park car with our in-car camera. But the two fastest cars, the two leaders, are now back in about 15th spot. Well, let's see, 13th and... where he is. I can't find the 82 car. We'll wait till the scoring monitor updates itself, and we'll find out.
Back in 15th position.
Yes, 11th and 15th
Under
are two
caution.
fastest cars.
Under caution for the 5th time tonight at Bristol, Tennessee. Back with more live racing action, all pro style, in just a moment. Back at Bristol, Tennessee, their safety crews are helping one of the crew members. Looks like one of the Toby Porter crew, a car number 80 crew from Greenville, South Carolina, into the infield care center. Young man was apparently involved in one of those tire changes. And that's one of the tires that rolled away and probably was the tire that got right in front of Dick Anderson there as Anderson came down pit road. So much going on at one time in the pits as that crew member being helped to the infield care center.
Rick Crawford is the leader of the race. We see directly in front of him Steve Allison, Bobby Allison's nephew, the held South car. He is a lap down to Rick Crawford, and in front of that, him is Clay Brown in the Papa John's Pizza car. Also a lap down, or the tail end of the lead lap, I should say.
Now, Benny, while we were in commercial, we have the radio open. We're able to hear Rick Crawford talking back and forth with Robbie Geist.
This official down here in pit says it's a courtesy deal. They can start in front of you if they want to.
What they're talking about is the two cars that are in front of Rick Crawford have not allowed Rick to the front.
Lead lap. Got to deal with him, I guess.
It looks like right now, you know, the pit stops was really a confusing thing. Several cars were almost lapped. Toby Porter, one of those cars.
Let's check in. We saw that crew member going to the infield care center. John, what's the status on that Toby Porter crew?
Well, it was Mike Brown, one of the crew members, as he was coming back across the wall after completing service on the car. He apparently hit his knee on pit wall and might have bruised his knee severely. They say they hope that he's all right. They think he's going to be all right, but they are sending him down to the care center to get checked out. Once again, that was Mike Brown. He hit his knee as he was coming back over the wall after the pit stop.
Well, that's good news, John, that it may be nothing more than a bruise. We'll hope to get a report on that as well. Take a look at the top 15 in our summary. Rick Crawford, who won on ESPN earlier this year at Martinsville, Virginia, is our leader. How about that guy, Ron Hornaday Jr., first time in Bristol, Tennessee in an all-pro car, comes from inside of row 9 to second spot. Jody Ridley, a three-time champion, is third. There's last year's winner, Ron Barfield Jr. in fourth spot. Toby Porter, pretty good pit work by his crew, gets him out in fifth position. Billy Bigley Jr., 2 poles this year, but he's yet to win. He's in sixth spot. He, remember, is tied for second in the point standing. Shane Hall in seventh. The car number 01 of Wayne Willard is eighth. There's Mike Cope, who was the leader. Remember, didn't pit on that first time by in the caution, came back in on the second lap, pitted, and now he'll find himself in 9th position. And back in 10th spot, the 53 car, and that is the effort of Robert Burrows.
And we will be going green this time. We'll see how Crawford is able to get by the Allison and Clay Brown car. Green flag is out.
Wasting little time, moving underneath the car number 21 of Steve Allison. They are side by side in 3. And here's Hornaday following right on the bottom of the racetrack.
In-car camera looking back at Hornaday. The white car on the rear view mirror is the 9 car of Hornaday. There we see Crawford on the inside of Clay Brown. Now there isn't any traffic directly in front of him.
Watching from Clay Brown's Papa John's Pizza roof cam as the front 2 cars pull away. Remember, Clay is on 7 cylinders, not able to keep up horsepower-wise.
And Rick Crawford did not stop on this caution flag halfway. As Clay Brown tries his best to keep up, but Crawford did not stop, did not change tires. I'm told that the 9 car of Hornaday did stop, so if tires are an advantage, he should be a little bit better.
Let's check in the pits with John Curtis.
I just talked to Robbie Geist, who's Rick Crawford's crew chief. He looked at me and said, I don't know why all these guys are changing tires. Our tires are fine. In fact, as you mentioned, they have not pitted. And Robbie tells me they can only go to about lap 160, maybe 165 or 170 on fuel.
Well, if you're going to roll the dice bidding, it's probably a good roll to make because we had 5 caution flags in the first 125 laps. So he needs a caution flag sometime in the next 40 laps to be able to make his fuel stop and tire change.
There we see Shane Hall going by the Clay Brown car, Wayne Willard. Here comes Mike Cope, who has led so much of this race.
Cope back up to 7th position. There's the car number 44, the Bobby Labonte-owned Penrose Chevrolet. Right behind the 01 of Wayne Willard.
And Hornaday trying his best to get on the inside of Rick Crawford. This 9 car of Ron Hornaday is the same vehicle that won the Southwest Tour race we had on ESPN at Sears Point back in May.
He built his own race car that's called Victory Circle Race Cars. Out of Saugus, California, he's raced this car 3 times. He set 2 track records. As you said, mentioned, Benny, he's won twice and has a 3rd one. Here's our AutoZone race recap. Our leader is Rick Crawford for 13 of 127 laps. There have been 2 lead changes. 5 caution flags for 43 laps, and the average speed way down, 64.45 miles per hour.
Bobby Rushwood, the 57 car. Oh, that's George Engel, I'm sorry.
Mike Cope and Rick Crawford. Out of race, Sutherland, Ray, Slick Yeomans, Brian Reevely, Mark Gerke. That head-on impact in the wall in turn 2 to bring up the 2nd caution flag. He's gone to a local hospital. He won't be able to get a report on Mark before we go off the air tonight.
Looks like Rick Crawford has done a good job of managing his tires. We talked about it at the top of the show, just how important the tire management was going to be. And it looks like that he has done an awfully good job managing those tires and keeping them under. Right now, as we watch this battle for the lead, here comes Hornaday once again. I'll tell you that Ron Barfield Jr. is the 3rd place car. Toby Porter is 4th. And
Rich Bickle is 5th. Competitive racing here in the NASCAR All-Pro Slim Jim Series. The car number 14 is your leader, and Barfield, I should say Barfield, Hornaday, down on the inside, looked up at Ron Barfield's car. That's Hornaday in 2nd spot, the Ultra Wheels Chevrolet Monte Carlo.
Oh, he got a spin, going off 4th. That's Dick Anderson, the Dodge, and no caution. Oh, my goodness, this is going to be awfully expensive for him.
And he is now a lap down as the leaders go by, but no mind, because Anderson is on pit road in the Dodge Daytona.
And Steve Allison has looks like blown an engine in the 21 car. Here's once again a battle for the lead. Crawford hung up on the outside. The leaders are side by side. Conrad Barron 33 and Hornaday takes the lead.
What a daring move by Ron Hornaday Jr. Now, he drives for Dale and Teresa Erner. I think he sung one of those on Sunday afternoon on Winston Cup competition. Boy, what a move was that. And here's Hornaday now trying to work to get by the 33 car. Conrad Burr makes the move. Now we'll see if those fresher tires do make any difference, and Hornaday has. Remember, Crawford has yet to stop, and we are almost 140 laps in this race.
As we watch this, I will tell you that Dick Anderson in the Dodge is still sitting on pit road. Hornaday going by Bob Strait as Rick Crawford closes in. Looks like he made a little contact maybe with Bob Strait. You can see how much space between he and Hornaday. It looked like he got the car out of shape going down in turn 1.
Get the rhythm back now. Get the rhythm.
And there's Dick Anderson, who's going to call it a night. Boy, what a great run he had early on. And there is Hornaday just moving away. He says, see you. Don't forget the right. He moves in on the car number 10. That's a young man from Indianapolis, Indiana, Rich Thomasik. Runs up at Winchester Speedway. You're riding along with Rick Crawford. Now, Crawford better be taking a look up in his rearview mirror because Ron Barfield is not that far behind.
There's our leader, blue and white, number 9, Ron Hornaday. Can you imagine that California coming here and trying to take these guys' money? Did a pretty good job of it, too.
Doing a heck of a job. Dick Anderson has found his way over to John Turner. Let's check in with John.
Well, Dick, you were having a pretty good run tonight. A little problem on that last on the pit stop, but what finally put you out?
Well, we had trouble on the pit stop, and then I guess they didn't get one of the tires good and tight. And when we went back out, it had a bad vibration, and the wheel finally came loose. And we decided not to go back out. We lost 4 or 5 laps. There ain't no sense going back out once you're that far down.
All right, Jerry, Dick Anderson got out of the car, walked with a little bit of a limp, but I think he's probably had that for a while.
Short track racing legend Dick Anderson out of Wildwood, Florida, calls it a night here in the Dodge Daytona. Meanwhile, our leader up front is the car number 9, Ron Hornaday. Back with more from Bristol in a moment. Welcome back to Bristol, Tennessee, and yes, we are under caution for the 6th time tonight. Almost an identical crash that what happened earlier in the night with Mark Gerke's car, number 41, and Conrad Burr, his car coming to rest just outside of turn 4. That car veered abruptly across the racetrack, Benny, and he's fortunately moving around. He's taking the window net down and pulled the helmet off, but he almost went in head on.
And we can see he goes up and smacks wall up between 3 and 4 and finally stops as he comes off the 4th corner. As we walk there, we see him coming off the corner. And he stops. And that's why the...
Boy, a violent impact. Now, here is Crawford finally getting a chance to come in and make his pit stop. They have changed right side tires. And he will fall in line.
Over the arrows, buddy.
And Rick Crawford obviously concerned. A little bit of emotion down there after a young man drove so hard. There's Conrad Burr in the car number 33. And he fortunately is out of the car, and he is okay in the Burr Racing Chevrolet. Under caution for the 6th time tonight at Bristol, Tennessee. It gets hot and heavy on the high banks. Back in a moment. Track Facts are brought to you by Quaker State, the intelligent oil for longer engine life.
Tonight we've already seen how much force and pressure that this racetrack exerts on the cars. And because it does that, these guys have to make some changes from their normal mode of operations, in particular in the shocks and the spring. Normally, where they would run on the short track, as you can see on this coil-over shock, this is about 300, 350-pound spring. But for here, they've got to go all the way up into the 750 to 800-pound spring rate. And you can see the difference in the coils. They also run a much stiffer shock. If
they didn't do this, you'd see a lot more accidents out there and also a lot more sparks because the cars would bottom out every time they went into the turns.
Thank you, John. Take a look at our top 15 here as we are 158 laps into a 250-lap race. Ron Hornaday Jr., two-time Southwest Tour champion, being shown as our leader. Last year's winner, Ron Barfield Jr., Rookie of the Year in the Slim Jim All-Pro Tour in second spot.
Toby Porter's in third. Billy Bigley up in fourth, and Shane Hall fifth. And we see the 10 car of Tomasic is back in the 15th spot. Crawford is 13th. And we see...
He's going to get him a seat there for a minute.
We've seen these cars making contact with the wall tonight, and that's why the NASCAR put the restrictor...
I've got that caution light right there. I didn't quite get to it.
That's why they put the restrict plate on these cars, to slow them down. If they didn't have it, they'd go in the corner probably 5-10 miles per hour faster, and they'd be hitting the wall with more regularity than they are now.
And we're going to let some of the cars in the lead lap go by. Hornaday, Porter.
Billy Bigley, there's Shane Hall.
Shane Hall behind him. Willard, the 01 car. There's Mike Cope, Ron Young.
Bickle, Scott Walters. 98 car of Jody Ridley, Hal Goodson, and there is Rick Crawford, who just made a pit stop and changed his right side tires.
There are 14 cars in the lead lap, and that's Crawford right there in 13th spot. The other car behind him on the lead lap is a 53 car, Robert Burris, out of Laurel, Mississippi, in the Burris Motorsports Chevrolet.
Second best.
10-4, Ricky, 10-4.
Good to go to the finish from here.
We're good to go to the finish.
10-4.
Rick said, are we good to go to the finish?
Let's move on up now.
That's easier for the crew chief to say. That's Bobby Geis talking to Rick Crawford. Now, he made one pit stop, came in, and you saw they ran over the air hose, so he was black flagged and brought back in for a second pit stop, and now from second, he will restart after this caution flag from 13th position. That's Rick Crawford in the car number 14. Ron Hornaday, two-time Southwest Tour champion and now super truck driver for Teresa Earnhardt's truck. Finished ninth last night. He leads them tonight in all-pro action at Bristol, Tennessee. Preparing that car for Ron Young. There's Tammy Jo Kirk in the 52 in front of Mike Cope. There's Mike Garvey.
Ron Hornaday, our leader. And right behind him in the Pizza Plus car is Ron Barfield, number 97. Looks like Barfield is gaining just a pick on.
Remember, Barfield won it a year ago. What a wild finish, folks. Remember last year's race? We had 4 different people have a chance to win this thing in the last 4 laps. 4 different leaders. What a scramble that was. And Barfield in that car number 97 with the Pizza Plus sponsorship, one of the local sponsors here in the Bristol, Augusta City area, running the second spot.
You see, Crawford has caught the 16 car of Hal Goodson. Downtown Radio of Charlotte, North Carolina, the sponsor on Hal Goodson, the points leader in the Slim Jim All-Pro division.
They go by the Clay Young car. That's Rick Crawford.
The cameras are watching each other going around this Bristol Speedway.
Hal Goodson, the latest winner. We told you there were 6 different winners in all-pro action thus far this year. Hal Goodson winning last week in South Boston, Virginia. Right along with Rick Crawford. 2 career wins in all-pro action. His second win coming earlier this year at Martinsville Speedway. We told you about his sponsorship. Here's a battle on the racetrack. Actually, the car number 91 is being shown a lap down. That is Mike Garvey. 97 and 80 are the battle for position. That is Ron Barfield in second, and the 80 is Toby Porter in third position.
And Barfield, I think he realizes that Garvey is a lap down. He moves over, and Toby Porter takes advantage. And Barfield has got a problem.
Obviously slowing as Porter goes by, Bigley goes by, and now he is side by side with Shane Hall as both Hall and Willard go by, and Barfield off the pace after running so well, after winning this race a year ago and running second here with less than 75 laps to go.
Wow, what a tough break for Ron Barfield out of Florence, South Carolina, and the car is stalled, it looks like. And here's a car in the wall. Mike Garvey is in the wall. And that will bring the caution flag out.
Mike Garvey's D.R. Horton Custom Homes Chevrolet, new sponsorship.
I said that he's in the wall. Actually, he's parked up there for some reason. It doesn't look like he's made any contact with the retaining wall.
Well, he brings out the caution flag for the 7th time tonight, and the car rolls down across the racetrack. Jack Medlock will take a look, or rather Sammy Shoemate, the crew chief for Mike Garvey. Apparently something breaking on the car. Garvey sitting in the pits. And here once again is Barfield, who was running in second spot, but the car just abruptly slowed.
I can't imagine what happened. And it looked like the car had stopped over in the second corner, like the engine was dead or something. But obviously it's running now as he heads for the pits.
Under caution, once again, at Bristol, Tennessee, 7 caution flags. It happens in a hurry here on the high banks, and there is Mike Garvey, only his second All-Pro start in 1995. The D.R. Horton Custom Homes Chevrolet, and behind him is the car number 98 of Jody Ridley, Ford Thunderbird, 3-time All-Pro Series champion. That's Biddle Ridley. And Anthony, Jody's son, working on the car. They changed right side tires, and now we'll change left side tires. Jody told me, he said, I've just had such a miserable year this year in all-pro competition. In fact, he didn't even go to South Boston last week. Said, I just feel like I got to regroup. Our sponsors regrouping, and we're going to look at our season possibly for the rest of the year and think about starting all over in 1996. Under caution, once again here at Bristol International Raceway for the 7th time tonight. Hornaday, our leader, back with more action after this. Stay with us. Well, we got some unusual action sporting-wise coming your way. You heard of the Extreme Game. We'll take a look at the Extreme Pits here, courtesy of John Corkman Corcoran. Yeah, there's old Corky. Watch him carry that big camera around those pit boxes and around the tires, all those gnarly crew members down there. Hey, Extreme Games coming your way. Starts up tomorrow for a week-long competition. 9 very extreme sports. Over 350 of the world's best athletes will be competing from Newport, Rhode Island. Coverage begins tomorrow on both ESPN and the Deuce. Extreme Games. Yeah, you don't want to miss that. That's going to be extremely fun and exciting. Atta baby Corkman. Ron Hornaday Jr., our leader. Young man from Palmdale, California. Toby Porter, 20 years of age, in second spot. Billy Bigley Jr. currently tied for second in the point standings in third. And Shane Hall in 4th position.
Wayne Willard is in 5th. Mike Cope is 6th. Ron Young is 7th. Rich Bickle started last because of the driver changes. Worked his way up to 8th place. Scott Walters is 9th. Hal Goodson, the leader of the Slim Jim All-Pro point standings, is in 10th. Rick Crawford, Clark Burrows, Jody Ridley is in 13th. Rick Tomasic and Clay Brown is 15th.
Under caution for the 7th time this evening. Incidents all over the racetrack. And there's the car number 5 of Rich Bickle out of Concord, North Carolina. 34-year-old driver, Terminal Trucking Company, Ford Thunderbird.
A brand new car, Jerry. As a matter of fact, they were finishing this afternoon about 3 o'clock.
Said they completed a car at 12:30 a.m. Saturday morning. And that was in Concord, North Carolina. They drove without any sleep all the way to Bristol, Tennessee to get that car here ready to practice and qualify. That's Bickle currently in 8th spot. There's Ron Barfield, who had a problem a moment ago. What was the problem, John Kernan?
Well, Jerry, the problem is a flat left front tire. They had to come in, and I can show you the hole right here. The wear indicators are here. It looks like he's got another one right there. Apparently, ran over a nail or something, punctured the tire. It went flat. He had to come in. He didn't lose it, didn't wreck, but he did lose a lap here in the pits, having to change the left front tire.
And that lap certainly cost him a shot at repeating as winner of this PowerAde PowerAde 250 here in Bristol, Tennessee. Rookie of the Year last year in all-pro competition. Former two-time track champion at Myrtle Beach Speedway, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Yes, my son, Kevin, used to race against Ron Barfield at the Myrtle Beach Speedway.
Very personable young man, 24 years of age. Speaking of young drivers, if you didn't join us until just a little bit ago, you may not have heard that Shane Hall has been offered a chance to drive a Winston Cup car. The Dick Brooks owned car number 40, the Kendall Oil Pontiac. They had an audition at a Greenville Pickens.
Let me see. Ron Hornaday crew.
Speaking of some All-Pro alumni that have made their name in All-Pro and moved on to make a name in other series, Joe Nemechek became a Busch Series champion and Winston Cup regular. Steve Grissom, also a Busch Series champion. Mike Garver, the 1990 Series champion here, running tonight. Rich Bickle, Paul Fitter at Charlotte, and Busch Cup. Ted Musgrave, boy, what a year he's having. Great run for Ted Musgrave. You saw some of the others there who have run through the All-Pro Series over the years and used it as a stepping stone to get not only the Busch Grand National, but possibly the Winston Cup.
The cars are forming up for a restart. There's Shane Hall, the 85 car that Jerry was talking about just a moment ago.
You know, I heard Dick Brooks even got in that car and ran some laps. Dick Brooks, that's the first time probably the jaws of life have been used to get a driver in the car.
In the 40 car, the Kendall Pontiac that Jerry is talking about, yes. And in Greenville Pickens this week.
Dick Brooks, of course, likes his ice cream, and our good buddy Dick,
Get ready.
co-owner of that car.
Get ready. Get ready. Get ready. Green now. Green now.
That's John Arnold telling his driver, Clay Brown, green flag, and Clay comes up through the gearbox. Jr. in the car number 9, Palmdale, California native Toby Porter right behind him, the Grease Lightning car number 80. In second spot, Billy Bigley Jr. In third, and there you're riding along with Rick Crawford.
As he tries to find his way back to the front. After a pit stop just a moment ago, he is good to go the rest of the way, and the tire wear may be a factor on some of his other cars. We'll see.
Trying to go by Ron Barfield, who was running second a moment ago prior to that cut tire that John Kernan showed you. There's Barfield's car number 97. He's been shown in 15th position, one lap down. Where is our leader? Well, there they are. Well, that's actually Mike Cope and Ron Young in the 44 and 4 car. They are in 6th and 7th position.
Mike Cope, who led so much of this race, and it looked like Ron Young was closed up right on the back. Meanwhile, we'll go back to the battle for second place. Toby Porter, the Grease Lightning, number 80, and Billy Bigley in 28.
Billy Bigley, 2 poles this year. There's Porter in second spot, and Bigley in the car number 28 in third. We mentioned they were in the parking lot of the hotel at dawn this morning working on that race car. As we have
we got a spin. That's Willard.
And he nearly gets tagged by the car 53 of Robert Burrows. Boy, Burrows just made a quick shunt to the left to miss the front of Willard's car, and he was being shown in 5th position.
Man, lucky.
Started back in 18th spot, Wayne Willard, driving the car number 01. Out of Beaufort, Georgia, the Kane Electric Chevrolet.
We see some damage to the left rear of that car where he's made contact with the wall. You said that was Robert Burrows in 53? I called him Clark Burrows a moment. That's a basketball player or something.
I think a little different sport.
Yeah. Where did I get that name from? He just picked it out of the sky, I guess. We see some damage. The back end of that car has been shifted over, and Willard will have to go to the pits and make some repairs.
Those of you keeping score at home, when you're running out of fingers and toes, we have 8 caution flags now. That was the 8th one of the night, and that's the damage there on the 01 of Wayne Willard from Beaufort, Georgia. Started back in 18th spot. Was being shown. Here's a look again if we can see what might have happened. That's the tail end of it.
Hard to say what might have caused that.
Boy, look at Burrows.
Rick Crawford. Oh, and Burrows did almost get him. He and Crawford both almost made contact with a Willard car.
Well, caution flag for the 8th time tonight here at Bristol, Tennessee. We are still some 61 laps away from conclusion. It is a beautiful night in the mountains of eastern Tennessee. Back in a moment. Beautiful night for racing here in Bristol, Tennessee. Beautiful weather, clear skies, and what a great facility here You might notice, folks, the new permanent lighting system, $1 million state-of-the-art mirrored reflective lighting system that was used last night for the first time. The folks from Musco out of Sioux City, Iowa, helping Larry Carrier and his staff light up this beautiful half-mile bull ring. And boy, I tell you what, you can see everywhere on this racetrack. There are the folks from Musco. You see those lights, and those are the reflective lights that point up, and just beneath that are lights that point down toward the pit. So every single pit is well lit down there. Take a look at the car coming in there, the 01 of Wayne Willard, and you can see everything on both sides of the car. That's the great job they've done with over $1 million they spent for lighting here, but it was sure well worth it, Benny.
A lot of candles around this racetrack. Take a long time to take a lighter and light all those. And one lap to go, and we're going to be back trying to figure out who's going to win this thing.
Here's our top 15 with 59 laps remaining. Ron Hornaday, young man from California, coming east to steal the big bucks from these off-road drivers. How about Toby Porter trying to hold up some courage there for the 20-year-old. Billy Bigley Jr., he's been coming in a hurry. Shane Hall got a future in Winston Cup. In a near future, of course, Mike Cope, last year's series champion. That's a top 5 right there. And Cope trying to hold off Ron Young. And Rich Bickle, hey, good deeds do get rewarded. Bickle let Freddie Query start his car. Query, 4th in the point standings, had trouble in qualifying when a car pulled up on the racetrack in front of him, and they have called off the restart. Apparently they have found something in turn 1.
Some oil or fluid down in turn 1. They need to put some oil dry down, so they will have the folks with the oil dry go down and sprinkle some. There he is.
And while they take a look and check over the racetrack as we ride along with the car number 7, Clay Brown, we'll take another quick break and come back with green flag racing action from Bristol International Raceway. Back in a moment. Our speed road coverage of the PowerAde 250 is being brought to you by Quaker State, the intelligent oil for longer engine life, and by Goodyear, #1 in tires. Goodyear. 1 lap to go. 1 lap back to happiness here at Bristol, Tennessee. 193 laps in the books of the 250, which make up this Slim Jim All-Pro Series event. Benny, any predictions?
No.
I don't blame you.
No. This thing has been too wild so far. Right now, Ron Hornaday is on the outside, the leader of the race. On the inside, Ron Barfield has a lap down. He had that cut left front tire that John Kernan reported from. He's alongside Hornaday trying to get that lap back. This is inside Rick Crawford's Circle Bar Motel and RV Park, Ozona, Texas. Sponsoring this in-car camera. There you go, son. Kane Electric.
And that's got to be one of the Wayne Willard fans. Speaking of Wayne Willard fans, Wayne did not lose a lap. He is the last car, the 01 car. He's the last car on the lead lap, being shown now in 13th position after that spin up in turn 4.
Toby Porter, the 80 car, 2nd place. Barfield could not keep up with Hornaday. Some distance between he and Ron Young. Clay Brown watches as Rick Tomasic drives up on the outside. And 52, Tammy Joe is slow down in turn 1. There's something dangling on that left front of Tammy Jo Kirk's car.
Remember, she happened to get a shunt from the tire off of the car number 41 earlier, Mark Gerke's car. A lot of damage on. These are fiberglass or carbon fiber bodies on these all-pro cars, so there's very little metal there. You see some of the front end is dragging. Here's a look again at Tammy Jo's car.
Oh, and she makes some contact with the front. That's what happened. Wow, does she do a great job saving that car. Is that Scott Walters in 55 she made contact with?
I think so, but she did a heck of a job to keep that car from coming across the racetrack right in front of other cars. And now he gets the car back up to speed. Here's Ron Hornaday, our leader.
And he has checked out from the 2nd place car. He has a full straightaway lead on Toby Porter, the 2nd place car. Look.
Come on, Toby. There's Toby. My goodness, I thought Toby had quit for a moment. There's Toby Porter in car number 80. Billy Bigley in 3rd spot in the car number 28.
Shane Hall in the white number 85. these fellows got hung up behind maybe Ron Barfield. That's why the Hornaday has such a tremendous lead.
Again, that's third and fourth, I should say. You're watching right there, Billy Bigley.
Ooh, and Shane Hall almost lost control up in the middle of 3 and 4 as Mike Cope pulls up right on the back bumper trying to get by. Brad Payne in 22. Mike Cope led about the first 100 laps of the race, and there's the distance he has to go to catch Ron Hornaday.
Let's check in with a pitch with John Kernan. John, what about Hornaday getting a pretty good restart?
Well, Benny, you're exactly right. Although they didn't really get hung up behind Barfield, they had to practically slam on the brakes to keep from running over him. Coming into turn 3, after Hornaday got around, Barfield went in just a little too hot, got the car sideways about 3 or 4 times, finally saved it. Toby Porter getting on the brakes hard, almost got into the rear of him, but he didn't. He got slowed down, but nobody wrecked, but what it allowed was Hornaday to pull away by almost a full straightaway.
And Ron Young has closed up in that 4 car right on, once again, on the back bumper of Mike Cope. Just about a lap ago, we see the 28 car, and Shane Hall try to get on the inside and almost loses control and almost hit the 28 as he saved the car and almost lost a position to Mike Cope.
Pretty good job by Shane Hall to keep that car from going one direction or the other, but now he's going to fend off 2 cars behind him. The 44 car of Mike Cope being shown in 5th position, and behind him is Ron Young in the car number 4 in 6th spot.
Oh, we've got a crash on the back straightaway, and other car, Jimmy Britz and Bobby Russ Wood, and another car is down on the inside. Is that 04?
Looks to be the 04 of Brian Ball out of Cosby, Tennessee.
That's Jimmy Britz there that we see with some sheet metal gone on the right side of his automobile. He drives away, so evidently he's okay.
The Action Welding Chevrolet. There's the 04 car. It's coming to rest against the inside pit wall.
Brian Ball.
Brian Ball out of Cosby, Tennessee. The Stenich Chevrolet Allison Engines sponsored Chevy. Here's a look ahead. See if we can see what might have happened back there to bring out caution number 9.
Bobby Russ Wood looks like he lost control, and Jimmy Britz was trying to spin to avoid him, and we see Ball spinning trying to avoid both those cars. Does a good job. I don't think he hit the inside wall, did he? Well, we don't know. Man, look at the damage to the right side of that car.
Boy, Britt's car took quite a beating over there. Jimmy Britz, 30 years of age, leading Rookie of the Year candidate.
Plenty of time, Rick. Plenty of time.
Evidently, Rick Crawford has had some kind of problem. He's slowing down a little bit. They changed right sides on the 14 car.
That's part of the hood. Looks like part of the hood, some of the fiberglass off the Britz cars, and some of the cars have run through that debris. And a number of cars making an entry on the pit road. Here is Ron Young, the car number 4. It was being shown in 6th spot. He is in the pits. Some other lead lap cars coming in. 55 car in the pits. That is Scott Walters, 1993 Rookie of the Year.
They're repairing some damage to the left rear of that car. I guess that was who Tammy Joe Kirk hit just a moment ago and did the damage to the left rear of that. As Ron Young, his car didn't look like he's running that bad. If this new tires help him, he might be a contender, although he's got a long ways to go and very short time to do it. Hey, the leader's in the pits. John Kernan, what's going on?
Apparently, Hornaday felt like he might have run over something and cut a tire because he dove into the pits, and he's changing left side tires only. No, it must be more serious problem than that. Sammy Gonzalez is tried to get a word with him. Now they've got a problem with that left rear, getting the lug nuts on. They tried to get a word with Sammy Gonzalez, but he was indisposed at the time, and so this caught them all a little bit by surprise, as it did me. But Hornaday in, changing left side tires, a very lengthy pit stop after some problems with the left rear tire.
Wow. Boy, this thing changed about 10 times tonight, huh?
Shades of a year ago, Benny. Remember that?
Telling you.
My goodness.
And Rick Crawford, it didn't look like he's something's wrong with the left rear. They're working on it. I guess they're changing the left rear. There's our leader, Toby Porter. Toby Porter in the Grease Lightning car.
Let's go back to John Kernan.
I just talked to Sammy Gonzalez as Hornaday comes back in. Apparently, he ran over some debris and it might have pinched an oil line on the car. They will take the hood off right now and get under it to look and see. But Hornaday having a major problem here after being so dominant in the latter stages of this race. Apparently running over some debris, perhaps clipping an oil line. As you see one of the crewmen looking under. And I can't see any oil down leaking. Well, yes, now I can. I can see just a little puddle of oil forming underneath the engine. But the motor is shut off on Hornaday, and it looks like his chance at a win tonight is probably over.
John, when that car pulled out a moment ago, your camera guy, great camera shot, saw a small puddle about 2 inches in diameter on pit road, and we saw it a moment ago. And that certainly could be a terrible, terrible sight for Ron Hornaday and that crew.
They're desperately trying to find where the oil leak might be coming from.
Sammy Gonzalez and company under that Hornaday Chevrolet Monte Carlo. Ultra Wheels Chevy.
That's too bad. Looked like Hornaday had made a good move coming east. Looked like he was in contention to win this thing tonight, and now he's sitting on jack stands in the pits.
Takes the helmet off, and apparently they're going to call it a night. Ron Hornaday, you know, he was almost apologetic earlier today for not being more aggressive last night. He said, I finished ninth and should have been more aggressive on the high banks here at Bristol. I said, did Dale Earnhardt give you a call and talk to you last night or this morning? He says, no. Fortunately, he hadn't called me yet. So, but he had a good run. He said traffic was tough. What a great truck race that was here last night. Had a top 10 finish and had a shot at winning it tonight. And I think Hornaday has made it out of the car. Let's go down to John Kernan there. John Hornaday catching his breath. There's John.
Ron's climbed out of the car, looked around, a little puddle of oil forming underneath the car. Ran over some debris or something?
I'll tell you what, these guys done a heck of a job. I mean, we were down and out, and I couldn't figure the track out with this car. And I thought we had this race pretty good. I don't know, I must have ran something over and got an oil line, because I kept running the lower line and everybody else and got the thing to hook. But Fluidyne, Ultra Wheels, Circle Wheels, Wins Oil. Hoosier Tire's got a heck of a tire to run that many laps. We were going to stop again. We put right sides on, and we were kind of leery about the gas, but with all the yellows we had and kept on going, it's just one of them days I couldn't afford to hurt the motor in this thing.
Hey, Sammy told me that you guys couldn't wait to get out here and run at Bristol. You watched it on TV. What's your impressions after running the last night and then tonight?
Well, I wish we could have the truck race tomorrow. Now I know the track a little bit, but you know, I just got to say I had everybody back at home supporting me, and all my chassis, and Mary High, and we'll do it next time. I don't know what to say. I had a lot of fun. I got to thank Gary Johnson from Fluidyne and Stick Only. We'll be back. Gus and Sewell, thanks, everybody.
All right, thank you, Ron.
Ron Hornaday Jr. turned 37 on Tuesday and was about to give himself a late birthday present, but apparently they have a small oil leak in the car, and that'll call it a night there.
Man, he got some sponsors, don't he? He almost never got through finishing thanking all of his sponsors.
And talk about an oil leak. Now, some of the cars behind him may have gotten a little oil on the windshield there. The car number 80's windshield. Now, he is sponsored by Grease Lightning, which is a cleaner and degreaser. That stuff is made to clean oil off of anything.
Looks like he needs it.
He might want to use some of that product because Toby Porter, just 20 years of age, is our new leader here with less than 40 laps to go, making 35 laps to go here in Bristol, Tennessee. Ninth caution flag of the day is over, and we're back to green flag racing. Glad to have you with us, John Kernan, Benny Parsons, and yours truly, Jerry Punt.
Inside Clay Brown's Papa John's Pizza car. That's Mike Cope, the 44 car, and Rich Fickle in 5th. The 5 car is in 5th place. Both those cars laps down. 97 is Ron Barfield. And Clay Brown, both those cars laps down. And there goes Barfield by. There goes Cope. There goes Cope trying to get by. There's Rich Fickle, the terminal truck in Ford, number 5. Al Goodson, the points leader.
Al Goodson in the car number 16 won last week in South Boston, Virginia. 69-point lead over Cope and Bigley. There's a look at Goodson.
That's a reference came down to Greenville, South Carolina. Chiefs. The hood of his car.
Why doesn't it surprise me that you know that? 221 laps in the books, and boy, we have a scramble around this racetrack. Here's the car 55 making a move by, and that's Scott Walters out of Louisville, Kentucky.
Clay Brown, the in-car camera we were seeing just a moment ago, the Papa John's in-car camera. There's that Burroughs guy. Robert, right, Jerry?
You got it.
There's our other in-car camera, Rick Crawford. As he tries to close up on Ron Young, the 4-car.
Laps are winding down here at Bristol, Tennessee. 27 laps remaining in the PowerAde 250. 9 caution flags. We told you about we're going to have some high bank hysteria. Well, coming up next, IHRA drag racing, the Spring Nationals. Those of you tuning in expecting to see drag racing coming up at the conclusion of our PowerAde 250 here from Thunder Valley, Bristol, Tennessee.
Ron Young and that Burroughs fella almost made some contact as he came off the corner. And Burroughs is trying his best to get alongside Clay Brown, the 7-car. He does it. Now Ron Young will try to follow, and I guess Rick Crawford also.
That's 10th, 11th, and 12th as we have 25 laps to go. That's actually 10th and 11th there. The 7-car being shown a lap down. Clay Brown not doing a bad job for 7 cylinders. He's still showing in the top 15. In fact, in 15th spot, 1 lap down.
Race for the lead. Billy Bigley in the black 28 is called Toby Porter. 23 laps to go. I guess Bigley realizes, I got to get it going.
As laps are winding down at Bristol, Tennessee, can Toby Porter hang on and get his first win of 95? We'll find out in just a moment. Back at Bristol, Tennessee, it's getting hot and heavy, and Billy Bigley in second spot in the car number 28, making a run, and our leader, Toby Porter, and he nearly had a fender up alongside a moment ago.
Just while we're in commercial, got up on that left rear, could not make the pass. Billy Bigley, 28 in second place. You see the graphic. This is it, 15 laps to go.
Now, if either one of these drivers holds on to win, it'll be the 7th winner in 7 races. We told you how much parity there was in this Slim Jim All-Pro Tour. And there's Shane Hall.
He might win this thing after all. He's in 3rd place. And looks like he might be close up. It's some heavy traffic right in front of these. How's this going to play out?
That's George Ingold in the car number 17. He moves down to the inside, and he lets Porter go by. Then Bigley slides along, and here comes Shane Hall.
The 04 car, Brian Ball, moves over to the inside. Goes by Porter and Bigley. Looks like Shane Hall was a loser in that he lost about 10 car lengths getting by that traffic.
Here's the battle with car number 16 and 01 for 6th and 7th position.
What that Willard in 01 is really running well, even after making contact with the retaining wall up in 3 and 4.
First full year on the All-Pro Tour for Wayne Willard.
Oh, and crash up in the corner. The Burroughs car and Rick Crawford are in-car camera car.
And the leaders were able to sneak by on the inside, and there is Crawford's in-car camera as it nosed in toward the outside wall here in Bristol, Tennessee. That's a flagman asking for a little Ben Gay up there. He's waved that yellow flag now 10 times tonight. 10th caution flag of the night, and poor old Dan Spence is going to have to soak that elbow for a while. This car right here is going to need a little work, too. That is, unfortunately, one of our in-car cameras. Rick Crawford, who won earlier this year at Martinsville Speedway, had a great run going early tonight, had a problem, had to come back into pits. Looks like there may be a little liquid on the racetrack.
Looks like he has broken the radiator in that car. Well, that might have been the Burroughs car. I guess it was. 10
caution flags tonight. Robert Burroughs in the car 53. involved in this incident, along with the car number 14. Rick Crawford out of Mobile, Alabama, the Circle Bar Motel and RV Park Ford Thunderbird. Caution for the 10th time tonight. 10 laps to go at Bristol. Don't go anywhere. It's going to get even hotter and heavier when we come back to Thunder Valley. Back in Bristol, Tennessee, 10th caution flag tonight, and the safety crews are there, and they have helped Rick Crawford out of the car and helping steady him there. One of the reasons they help steady a driver is if you ever tried to walk up 36 degrees of banking, it's tough enough when you haven't had a lick into the concrete. And let's take a look at the in-car camera, a replay as to exactly what might have happened.
Oh, the Barrels car makes some contact, hits the wall coming off the fourth corner, and evidently as Rick Crawford goes in the corner, here comes the Barrels car and hits him, and into the wall he goes. He had made contact with the retaining wall coming off turn 4. Let's watch this in real time.
Exactly. What Rick Crawford, 36-year-old driver, felt.
That is too bad.
Boy, what a tough break. Coming up next, Spring Nationals, IHRA style. IHRA drag racing coming up next at the conclusion of our PowerAde 250 from Bristol, Tennessee. Less than 10 laps to go. It'll be exactly 6 this time by. So our leader is Toby Porter. Young man, 20 years of age, second full year on the All-Pro Tour. Won twice a year ago at Lanier and Myrtle Beach. His best finish, though, this year has been third at Martinsville. That was on ESPN, so probably ESPN a little bit lucky for Toby Porter. Taking a look as it'll click off now, 2:44 in the book, 6 to go. Porter, our leader, in the car number 80. In second spot, Billy Bigley Jr.
You see Porter back and forth trying to scrub the tires, get the debris that clings to those hot tires. So when he takes the green flag, goes down in the corner, the tires will stick. There's the top 15.
10 cars on the lead lap. Last car on the lead lap being shown is Ron Young in the car number 4, Ron Barfield. Remember that hole in the tire? He had a cut tire. He is a lap back in 11th spot in the Pizza Plus Pontiac.
Brown on one of our in-car cameras. The Papa John's pizza car is in 13th. There we see, there's the top of the Papa John's pizza car. There's the Goodies Dash Series last night.
That's Mike Swain Jr., 19 years of age, second-generation driver, son of two-time series champion Mike Swain. B.J. Mackey at 17 years of age, and second, Lyndon Amick, also 17 years old. Dave Stacy, young man who did a little trip to Lake Lloyd back a couple of years ago in Daytona. What a day he had fixing that car, coming back to finish 4th. And Robert Huffman, former series champion, finishes 5th. And how about the Super Truck action?
Man, it was hot and heavy last night, and Joe Ruttman gets a victory for the Fords. First time in the 9 races that a Ford truck had won. The F-150, Jeff Bodine, another Ford, and Butch Miller, another Ford. Sammy Swindell and Bill Cedric, the first Chevrolet. Chevrolet had won 8 races in a row in the Super Truck Series last night. Ruttman put one in the win column for the Fords.
Got to give a call to Jimmy Hensley, though. Now, he drove a Dodge last night, and that Dodge was on a rail.
You know, it's too bad he didn't have the engine in Anderson's car, the 82 car that ran so well tonight, and had something go wrong with it. But it looked like the engine was not a problem in Dick Anderson's car tonight.
Same engine builder, though. Joey Arrington built the engine in both the car that ran last night and led up front, and once again the Dodge that ran tonight in Dick Anderson's car, 9.5 to 1 compression V8 engine. And how about some Winston Cup action? We're talking about a simulcast. We're going to do that once again. We did it at Darlington early in the year. Pepsi 400 coming up next Saturday. Remember, it's Saturday, 11 a.m. Eastern time from Daytona Beach, Florida. All of our Speed World cast will be down there at the World Center of Racing as we head to the beach for the Pepsi 400. And boy, what an unusual first half of the year it has been in Daytona. I still can't get over that Daytona 500 and how strong Sterling Marlin was in the Morgan McClure car. By the way, the Morgan McClure car is not very far from where we are right now. It's kept up in Abington, Virginia, and they've got to be sitting there just resting that baby, waiting to go back to the beach here next Saturday for our live coverage of the Pepsi 400.
The simulcast that Jerry was talking about is on ESPN2. We'll have 6 or 7 in-car cameras, and you'll see in-car camera action and also commentary from the drivers to the pit crew. Listen to the conversation between the drivers and pit crews. I'm telling you, the one we had in Darlington was fantastic. Some of the letters we received said the best race they'd ever seen on television.
And it was a thrill to be a part of it. I know we enjoyed being able to hear the in-car conversations and be able to people to flip back and forth and watch the in-car camera coverage and be able to watch our primary coverage on ESPN Classic. So we get set to head back to Daytona for Winston Cup action. Halfway point of the $38 million NASCAR Winston Cup Tour.
All right, they're going to get the signal this time. 1 lap to go. We've completed 247. They'll get the green flag on 248. The next time they'll get the white, and then who's going to win this baby? We'll find out in just about 3 laps.
Billy Bigley awfully hungry. 1 career win for this 32-year-old driver, 6 years at All-Pro. And that 1 win coming back in 1993 in Jefferson, Georgia.
Now they're trying to get the cars that's a lap down, not to go up single, double file. That's what they're trying to tell them. This restart will be single file.
That's the 10-lap rule. Inside of 10 laps to go, single file restart with the lead lap cars up front. Everyone else falls in line, and that's exactly what's happened. Porter, Bigley, Shane Hall, Mike Cope in the 44, the Bobby Labonte Penrose car, Rich Bickle, Terminal Transport effort, Terminal Trucking Machine. Green flag about to come out, and Porter pulls away.
His blue car, Hal Goodson, did not get a very good start. And the Willard car 01 is slow as we watch Toby Porter trying his best to beat back to the line Billy Bigley. Here he comes. White flag is out, Jerry.
White flag, final lap for the 20-year-old Toby Porter in the car number 80 from Greenville, South Carolina. Billy Bigley, a car length and a half back. Less than a quarter of a mile to go, and Bigley drops it deep in turn 4. Out of 4, but it'll be Porter who will take the win. Bigley, Shane Hall, Cope, and Bickle. That's the top 5 at the PowerAde 250 in Bristol, Tennessee. Bigley up to congratulate car number 80. Young man, 20 years of age, Toby Porter from Greenville, South Carolina, the Grease Lightning Oldsmobile.
This was the weekend for youngsters. Last night it was a 19-year-old that won the Goodies Dash race, and tonight a 20-year-old wins the Slim Jim All-Pro race. There he is, Toby Porter.
A year ago, he finished 7th here at Bristol, Tennessee. He won twice in All-Pro competition at Lanier and Myrtle Beach. That's the Grease Lightning. I said it was an Oldsmobile. It's actually, that's what he normally runs. It's a brand new Chevrolet Monte Carlo Port City chassis. Jeff Hamner out of Chelsea, Alabama. Builds a lot of these All-Pro engines, and congratulations to Jeff Hamner. I spoke to him earlier down there. He was real excited about the actions and the possibilities for some of the cars tonight, and one of his motors goes to victory lane. Young Toby Porter.
Toby, we can tell that he's a young man because he knows how to get to victory lane. It's that way, guys. Here's the top 15.
Take a look and see where your favorite driver may have finished. The point leader, Hal Goodson, finished in 6th spot. There's Jody Ridley, the 3-time champion, at 8th spot. Ron Young back in 9th. Willard manages a top 10 finish. Ron Hornaday back in 20th spot.
Top 30, and there we see Kevin Ray was the first car out of the race. John Kernan, what's going on down there?
Well, it's almost pandemonium as Toby Porter tries to get his helmet off. Toby, great run there. Congratulations on the win. It's been, what, about a year since your last victory?
Yeah, it's been a good while. We've been looking forward, been working hard. We love it. I mean, I want to thank the crew. They did a heck of a job. I want to thank Lee McAllister. I want to thank Grease Lightning. I want to say hi to my dad at home. I bet he's sitting there on the edge of the couch. But it's great, y'all. This is a race I've been wanting to win. We've had bad luck this year, and it's been coming around. I said, well, if I win me one, I want it to be at Bristol, and it is. I want to thank God for it.
Well, I don't think that his father is on the edge of the couch. I think he's probably jumping around the living room right now, Jerry.
Toby Porter, 20 years of age from Greenville, South Carolina, wins the PowerAde 250. 10 caution flags for 89 laps. Once again, for John Kernan and Benny Parsons, I'm Jerry Punch, congratulating 20-year-old Toby Porter on his first win in 1995. Remember, IHRA Spring Nationals coming up next. Congratulations to Toby Porter, and so long, everyone, from Bristol International Raceway.